Guten Tag, meine Kinder. You are listening to Free Zone Radio. Ja.
From the mind of the man to the hills of Tennessee. For Free Zone Radio, this is Second Stage.
Yes, my little friend. And I am an old student too. Remember to seek to know the beauty of a thing. For yourself is a joy, not as a duty.
This month, we're revisiting a largely unknown and unconventional play. It's called Einstein the Man, a one-act, one-man play written, produced, and performed by Bill Landry. If you grew up anywhere near East Tennessee, Bill Landry is already a familiar voice. The steady presence behind WBIR's The Heartland series, where 5-minute stories carried the weight of the region's memory. In 1979, with support from Oak Ridge institutions built on the backbone of American scientific ambition, Bill Landry turned his attention to a different kind of story, the life of Albert Einstein. The goal was to undo the myth of his untouchable genius and instead present him as a person you might sit across from and listen to. A friendly neighbor, not unlike a humble professorial version of Mr. Rogers. That instinct tells us a lot about Bill Landry's style. He doesn't present history as something distant or polished. Bill Landry always leans into his performance, into his voices and characters. Even in conversation, he carries himself like an actor who understands that people remember what they feel before they remember what they were told. Einstein the Man reflects that approach. It was performed more than 1,000 times across dozens of states and into Canada, and eventually made its way into Tennessee classrooms through a state-sponsored publication. That kind of reach comes from the play's simplicity, clarity, accessibility, and a sense that this material belongs to everyone in the classroom. I believe that's where this play finds its place. No one meant for this play to land at the polished center of Broadway or the experimental fringe of avant-garde stages. Theater has always had a branch that explains the world to its audience, that takes something vast and nigh unknowable and renders it human-sized. That's what Bill Landry's Einstein does. His stage is closer to a fireside chat than a proscenium spectacle. There's also something timely about revisiting it now. It speaks to an America that has forgotten the mantle of discovery, innovation, and space exploration, until only recently with the Artemis missions. We talk a lot about rediscovering that national appetite for innovation and exploration, about getting students to care about ideas that can be abstract or out of reach. Bill Landry was already working that problem decades ago, asking how you make the laws of the universe feel like they belong to a room full of families and kids. His answer was simple. You perform them. You embody them. It's what Mr. Wizard did for Nickelodeon in the 1980s, and Bill Nye in the 1990s, and Neil deGrasse Tyson in the 2000s. You humanize the science. You undo the myth of Einstein, and you present him as a man. Maybe it's also a model for what we can do in the classroom, inspiring students to transmute the so-called boring lectures into something more hands-on, a performance. This week, my trusty sidekick Drew Haston and I are setting out to travel through time and sit with Einstein the Man to see what makes this play tick.
I preemptively put my headphones on like a goober.
Do you understand the science of how microphones work? You don't? That's okay.
I was going to say,
because I have a special guest here today who's going to talk to you about that. Oh, wait, here he comes right now. Do you see this little old man? Come on over here. Come on over here.
Hello, my friend.
Hi.
I am a young learner too.
Hi. Could you introduce yourself for the audience?
Oh, my name is Albert Einstein.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
I am here to talk to you about the science.
How is it possible that you are so young, Einstein?
Because when you do the advanced physics and you look at the relativity and you see that you have your E and your MC square, and my aging has progressed differently from yours, and I am also on a different eternal plane, which the gravity it holds at a different constant. That is why.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I feel like you could explain physics to me like I was a 5-year-old. Like I feel like you could have a show at Oak Ridge Science Labs and you could teach science to me and make it so palatable and easy to understand.
Well, at one time in my life, I did such a thing. I was embodied. Have you ever watched the television show, the Doctor Who? Yes, you have. See, I operate much like the Doctor Who. I have different people who embody me. I come back in different forms, and at one point in my life, I came back as Bill Landry. You laugh, but it's true. It is scientific. It's very scientific.
Einstein, are you telling me that you've been living, bebopping around through history in all these different forms and that you were Bill Landry?
Yes, I come back as me. I come back as Bill Landry. I come back as Greg Wilson. It just depends on how you look at it. I can come back in any form.
If you had to pick one doctor, Einstein, who is Einstein the Man's favorite doctor?
My favorite doctor by far has to be Dr. Pepper. He is a genius. He creates a very fizzy drink, and it helped me get through very many nights on how to build the nuclear bomb.
And it's so tasty.
It's so tasty.
It's so tasty.
Keeps you up. There's a reason I was so enthralled by Dr. Pepper's discoveries that's actually what I washed my hair with. That's why it sticks out like it does.
I think it's crazy. See, my friend Drew here, Drew has a podcast. Drew, say hi.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just joined. I had to go to the bathroom. I just had to join. I'm sorry.
I thought it was really weird that you walked away as soon as Einstein the Man came in. Because I wanted you to meet him.
Einstein was in here?
He was in
No,
here.
he was not.
I swear to God, he was in here just like 5 seconds ago.
Man.
He told me that he bebops around through time and space. So I don't know. He may be like back in a second.
may get me back.
I don't know.
I was just in the bathroom and I missed him.
Man, that's relativity for you right there.
Apparently so. The time in the bathroom was flying. I'll say that much.
This is a weird one for what I originally intended for the show. This is a weird one because I wanted us to look at plays that maybe everybody once upon a time knew in the cultural consciousness, and why don't we give them more screen time in the classroom or on the community theater stage? And by golly, we've got an outlier this week.
Yeah, we could say that.
This is William A. Landry's Einstein the Man.
I'm not saying this jestfully. I think that this is what he is most proud of in his life. I really think that it is.
I agree. And this began way back in ancient times when I was born in the year 1979. Where do we begin with a play like Einstein the Man? Maybe we should talk about the author first.
Yeah.
Do we know anything about this author?
Well, I'm glad that we're talking about this all of a sudden today, because we actually talked about when we interviewed Bill Landry earlier, and you can reference the Deadman's books. If you're on my timeline right now, because we're doing a crossover episode, you can reference back an author interview. It says Appalachian Tales and Heartland Adventures. We talked to Bill Landry. And Crockett and I dressed up as Bill Landry, and Bill Landry dressed up as Albert Einstein.
Do you believe that? We met our hero, Bill Landry, and we, in an homage, dressed up in Bill Landry shirts. And what did he do? He dressed up as Einstein, of all things.
Bill Einstein.
Bill Einstein Landry the third.
Yeah.
What's Bill Landry known for to us?
Heartland series.
A legend.
Yeah, for just capturing the East Tennessee mountain people culture. That's kind of how I've started to, because you and I are working on a similar project, and that's how I've been trying to explain it to people, is capturing a people and a culture. And that's what he did.
He, in that interview on a Deadman's books, which you all need to go back and listen to. It's amazing that we got to interview this guy. Yeah. He's an older dude now, but he still sounds like Bill Landry.
Yeah.
He often pushed away credit. Like, we kept talking to him, from our point of view as audience members, Bill Landry is the face and voice of the Heartland series. But he kept pushing away credit for that, saying, I was just a performer. Mm-hmm. I was not all of these people behind the show. What a humble guy.
Yeah.
What a humble voice.
It is interesting to think about. I think you see the Heartland series and Bill Landry is all over it. And I kind of think that I was under the impression that he was there from the get-go, but really he just kind of stumbled into it.
Yeah.
It was like, we have this plan and we need someone to host it, and he was just available at the right time.
Yeah. He, in getting to interview him, brought up that his background was actually in theater work.
Yeah.
Which pinged my ear, because I was like, oh, funny that. I am starting a show examining theater work. And I have a background with theater work, and just here's Bill Landry. Here's Bill Landry, of all people, who had a background in college football, and
I know,
theater, and that he went to which university here in Tennessee, was it?
Tennessee Chattanooga,
and
which is where he grew up,
right?
Yeah,
and got to know legendary people on campus with theater and football, and then just happened to try out for a Shakespeare play, and got involved with Shakespeare.
Oh yeah,
and then goes on to do community theater. Mm-hmm. He goes on to do another play about the history of Roane County, right?
Yep.
And
at Roane Sizzle
itself, and then winds up falling into all of these other things before he even lands in the Heartland series.
He just was trying to eat.
He was the man.
Was just trying to get a meal. Had a family to feed.
Trying to pay some bills, and stumbled into stardom. How about that? But we have here a play that he told us about that he had done in 1979 called Einstein the Man. Where did this get started from?
So he talked about how somehow he was going back and forth between Roane State and Walter State, and there is a Roane State satellite campus in Oak Ridge. The theater department is actually at the main campus in Harriman, and I will have to brag on my alma mater. It has a very nice theater there. Honestly, it's kind of surprising. So I'm just wondering if, because about that time is when they built the campus. So I'm wondering if they had like a huge intention for the arts at one time. Anyways, the way I kind of understood it is he was in Oak Ridge teaching theater at one point. So I'm assuming that was when he was with Roane State, and he was talking to the National Lab, and they were saying that they wanted to present science in an educational way. Because it was like some type of anniversary was coming up, and he had this idea of, well, what if we did a one-man play about Einstein? And they bought it. And one thing he said I thought was really cool was how he started just eating lunch over there with those guys. And he was talking about all these nuclear physicists who were world famous for working on the atomic bomb that he got to hang out and eat lunch with and learn from. So probably people who, they may have interacted with Einstein.
Right.
So
can you imagine having a lunch break where you actually get to talk to people about science and not just sit and stare at your phone, or I don't know, like, what's the gossip about your coworker right now? Can you imagine getting to talk about cool things at lunch? Or just imagine if we sat at lunch with Chuck Sutherland from Tennessee Tech talking about caves. And it's just cool. Like, You're telling me what about sinkholes? And Chuck just goes on about sinkholes.
And then you ask him, if a cow stands on a sinkhole, will that cause it to collapse?
Or having a nuclear physicist who's talking to you about, oh yeah, well when you do this, and you're just like, could you tell me more?
Or Einstein would have said this, not that.
Wouldn't lunch have been like the best lunch every day?
Do you know, on talking about our other podcast, I got cracked up listening to us with Martha because I told Mary Beth, part of me wants this to be like a Clarkson's Farm, or I'm just kind of the idiot being taught stuff. And Chuck Sutherland was kind of getting on that territory when I was like, so if a cow's in a sinkhole, right? And he was just kind of like, I think you're going to be okay. And then, what did Martha ask me? She was like, do you know what this is? And I was like, no. And she goes, I didn't think that you would. It's like...
Kids these days, they don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But she also brought up that quicksand bit. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, that was
when
really
she was talking
interesting.
about that being underneath Highway 111 and how it continued to sink,
Yeah.
and how they thought it was quicksand. And when she said that, 1980s Jason Crockett activated, because I was like,
A little kid comes out.
right? And it's like, how many times did we grow up hearing and seeing quicksand in the movies? And didn't you just kind of expect, like, I need to know how to survive quicksand?
Everybody needs to know that.
Nobody even talks about it anymore. But by golly, it's under Highway 111 down there.
I feel like when you're a kid, especially when you're a boy, that's like, okay, I'm starting to learn how to survive. That's survival tip number one you look for is, what if I fall into a quicksand pit? Everybody knows what you do. You throw your walking stick out, and
Or
you like,
you got to have a vine or something. Make sure it's a vine and not an anaconda that you throw out.
yeah.
Because it's always an anaconda.
okay, we digress.
Well, I mean, how about that? Bill Landry in the late 70s beating Bill Nye to the chase of here. Let's do a one-man show about science.
Can you imagine in an alternative timeline where he's the Bill that advanced to be Bill now?
Bill Landry, science guy. It's something like that. I don't know. If there is a way to jump timelines and go explore, if we only had like a doctor... Dr.
Einstein.
I don't know, a doctor.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Oh my God, you're back.
I am back. Hello.
I wish Drew were here right now.
You keep talking about this person and I do not know who he is.
It's like he blipped out for a second. Einstein, before you go, I got to ask you a few questions here.
Yeah, sure.
I am looking at this play, Einstein the Man.
Yes. Very handsome man on the cover.
Very handsome, very handsome. Did you pose for this?
I am, a lesson that you learn when you are growing up in the fashion houses of Austria is you are always posing.
Always posing. Always be posing.
Strike a pose.
ABP.
Yes.
Let me ask you another question, too.
Of course.
At Los Alamos, you knew people there, Oppenheimer and some others, right?
Yes. Oppenheimer was a pupil of mine.
You knew Teller, you knew Szilard, you knew all of these guys.
Yes.
Who's your least favorite physicist?
My least favorite physicist would probably have to be Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, dang. But why?
Well, he talks in circles. And somehow all of his conversations come back to the same thing.
To him, right?
Yes. Very much.
You know, Einstein, we just recently, and when I say we, I mean the human race. And by that, I mean America. We sent 4 astronauts on the furthest human voyage yet, and they just orbited the moon. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's wonderful if it was real. That's a joke. I know it's real. Of course it's real. It's fantastic. We need it in this time.
What would you want if you could have a captive audience of children at the Y-12 plant over in Oak Ridge?
Oh, yes.
If you could talk to them about the recent Artemis mission, what would you want to tell them?
I would tell them to shoot for the moon because you'll always land in the stars.
Okay, that's great advice.
I would also say, do not give the president nuclear codes.
I think that's very, very wise. I think that's very wise. You're a man so visionary ahead of your time, and it's probably because you're half Time Lord. I know, so bebopping around.
I am eternal, yes.
You are eternal.
Bill Landry made me so.
But isn't science eternal?
Science is eternal, yes. Herr Crockett.
So in this play, you're called Einstein the Man.
I am.
What do you think about that title, Einstein?
That is all I am, basically. He could have said Einstein the Man or Einstein the Learner. Either one would have been happy for me.
What do you think this title gets at for you? Yeah, you, Einstein. What do you think this gets at for you?
That all men should be like me. I think this is what I think, actually. Bill Landry thinks that I am very cool. He says, you're the man. And so he says, Einstein, the man. Yes, I remember that very well. I pitched my idea to Charlie Chaplin.
I am currently showing Einstein some of the pictures that come in this playbook. And here is a picture of you on stage with Charlie Chaplin with a Hollywood sign behind you and an audience in front of you.
Yes.
Was this drawn from real life? Was this from a real experience?
It was because some things that people don't know is the Charlie Chaplin mustache. He gets that from me. I recommended him to grow out the mustache. I say, it make you look manly.
We have another one here.
Yes, I remember this day as well.
Beam.
Yes.
It's like you are riding a beam of light.
Well, I was.
Why?
I needed to know how fast it went. Very simple. Science is simple.
And how are you going to know unless you try?
If you don't try, you will never know. I believe Coldplay said that. Shout out to my favorite band, the Coldplay. Chris Martin. Don't catch me kissing someone else.
Because we always cite our sources. We always cite our sources, children. Here's a drawing of you and your hero.
My hero, yes.
Mr. Faraday.
Mr. Faraday, Herr Faraday, as I would say. He was my hero because, as you can see there, he was a cigar aficionado, and I love a good cigar.
Very good, very good.
That's all there is to it.
Nothing else. Nothing about his science or his pioneering.
Office.
Nothing about that.
Nothing else. This is my office and my home.
How do you think that this office characterizes you?
Very studious, would you not say so?
I would say so. Also a little bit frumpy.
Also very 70s.
And very 70s.
That's what I would say.
Uncharacteristic for you.
I was a man in the future.
But a man of time and space.
Yes, and before I go, I just want to say Guten Tag to all my countrymen in Austria and Guten Tag to all my cousins in Frankfurt.
We are so proud to have you.
Oh, and I am going. What a miss.
Drew, I am so mad at you. He was literally here and he blinked out in a beam of light.
Man, I thought I saw a flash.
It's crazy.
I'm really sorry that I've had to go to the bathroom so much.
That's okay.
I just did eat a Circle K glizzy. Those run right through you.
Once upon a time, this show aimed for high-minded art.
We actually covered what we read.
We're past all of that. So now, I'm looking at this book. Bill Landry produced this small paperback play. Mm-hmm. It is full. It is replete with illustrations. Every other page has an illustration. You think Bill Landry did these drawings himself?
I don't know. I really don't know, because that was something that I've noticed about Bill Landry is he likes to describe himself as a sculptor. But also in one of his books, I think it's Telling It for the Truth, he's got a few personal illustrations in there. So I'm going to say yes.
Well, you're wrong.
Oh.
These are illustrations by Bobby Longmire.
Oh,
actually.
yeah. I know Bobby.
Bobby's a good guy.
He's a good old guy.
He's a good guy.
Good old boy.
But it did make me think while looking through here, did Bill Landry do these? Before I checked the credits, did he do these? I could absolutely see Bill Landry contributing like every caricature sketches of his own page. And,
Yeah, and, I do think, that's what I keep saying, like, in all seriousness, I think that this is what he's most proud of. I just think you can kind of tell when you talk to him. Because if you say the word Einstein, he immediately starts to quote and break into character. And then he's got his little forward there. And I don't know. I think that this is what he's most proud of. And I was glad as a fan of his to read it. Yeah. I'm glad that I will say this. I'm not really one to brag on myself, But I will brag on myself for a minute. I tracked these babies down.
You absolutely got detective points.
That's one of my skills is the eBay. And I tracked down actual physical copies of Einstein the Man.
I don't think Radio America knows that you have an alter ego named Perry Haston.
That's true.
Who is like a world-class level detective / part-time secret agent, level of Bond.
Lawyer.
But yeah, like he figures it out. Perry Haston, no mystery. No mystery stands his way.
Found it.
So Radio America, Einstein the Man, if you're using this in the classroom as a play, let's all be honest, this is not for high school level at this point, right?
But I don't think it was ever intended.
It was never intended that way. This is not one of those AP texts like Equus that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, right.
But this was definitely something geared toward a child audience, a family audience, in the same way that Bill Nye, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also, I don't think that discredits anything about it. I think it's just like, okay, let's think about how do we present science to a younger audience to make something inspiring and palatable, especially in a day and age where I think so often we don't.
Yeah.
We referenced the Artemis missions that recently, 10 days around the moon and back.
Yeah.
And the entire mood of the country was on cloud 9 when they landed, getting to see this footage for the first time in decades, getting to see Earth set behind the moon on Apple camera footage for the first time, right?
Yeah.
Just great pictures and everything. It was definitely something that America needed because we've just been crippled by so much frustration, anxiety, murder, dark times.
Just negativity.
And
you and I have talked about this before. I know a word that gets thrown around a lot is like making America great. And I know I told you that day, like these are the things that we should be doing. These are the things we should be doing is exploring, and we should be leading the way for scientific discovery and culture and just leaning into that. I know people would argue, because I said to you that not warmongering and things like that. And I know that people will probably say, well, we can't do the space stuff if we don't do this stuff as well. But I mean, I think that the older I've gotten, the more I've realized that one reason people get so frustrated with Americans is because we are kind of like the cool kid. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, people look to America as an example to set the tone for the world. And when we don't have our crap together, it really does ripple throughout the world. And I really do think, and I'm not saying that our country is better than other countries, but what I am saying is I really do think that people a lot of times look to America as maybe hope or maybe like a role model type figure. Because when you think about it, we've talked about this. Our number one import is probably our entertainment culture, and that goes worldwide. How many movies, Hollywood movies, are set in America and show America? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, the aliens, whenever they always invade,
and always
America.
Right? Yeah. So I think that for and I was watching the Artemis thing live on YouTube in the live chat. There were so many people.
Yeah.
That were not from America watching. And that's just what I was thinking was like, this is the America that people want to see. Yeah. This is the America that people want to see. We're going to space because we can go to space. Like, we got more money than you, and we're not going to spend it on this. We're going to spend it on going to space. Like, we're going to space, and I think that was just kind of refreshing to just kind of see a lot of people just view America just for a brief second as that America.
The one that we idealize and want to be like.
That we can be.
Right.
I think that we are at our heart, honestly.
Yeah.
I think we are that at our heart. I just think that, with anything in life, you lose focus sometimes. Yeah. And that, I mean, I don't know. You and I talk about this. This has nothing to do with Albert Einstein, but I just think that I think America is a turbulent place. I think we were born on revolution. We had a civil war early. We've always just kind of been divisive, honestly. I just think
the nature of the beast.
I just think that that's a part of us. So I do think that America's always going to go through turbulent times, but I just think that it's good to see things where we can get behind it, which it upsets me. I think that's why I get so, I'm really going off on a tangent. I think that's why I get so angry at the conspiracy theories, like these people talking about that they didn't even fly to the moon, because that's what I told my wife. Like, why would you take that achievement away from us?
Right.
You know, like, why would you take that achievement away from mankind? Not just America, but from a man. And that was also a beautiful thing about it is we've been at odds with our neighbor because of our leader, which should not be the case. But yet we still saw 3 Americans and a Canadian getting along together, and you know what I mean? And it was just like, this is how it should be. I think that's why for us it was so refreshing, because like I said, it was just a reminder of that true American spirit. And it was just a reminder that we can still play well with others. And it was a reminder that, you know what, others want to play well with us still too. So,
you know, if we're citing our sources, Jor-El, the father of Superman and Kal-El, in the original Superman movies, does record to his son that humans are capable of being a great people, that they want to be, and they just need some guidance to remind them to eventually turn to the light.
They can be a great people, Kal-El. They wish to be. They only lack the light to show the way. For this reason, above all, their capacity for good, I have sent them you, my only son.
And so Superman needs to be a mentor figure for us. Just like you were saying, you know, we want to see ourselves idealized as a mentor figure, as a leading figure in the world, not giving into our baser instincts, not giving into our fears and anxieties and hatreds and self-loathing and the baser instinct. We don't want that. Just like we need a mentor figure like Einstein. Like if you're thinking about the science that Einstein is known for, isn't that also the same science that was driven originally by competition, conflict, pretty dark times, World War II? Einstein wouldn't have even been in America if so many Jewish scientists had not been driven out of Europe. We are the people that we want to cultivate. Hey, we can have science. We can make things. We need to end this threat and then go on from there. So much of that science does haunt people like Oppenheimer and Einstein, but that doesn't discredit the innovations, the discoveries, the scientific theories and principles. Everybody thinks of Einstein as E equals MC squared, right? The very notion that light travels at a certain speed and that, you know, time and space and all of this are relative. Holy cow, just mind-bending principles and theories because of somebody like Einstein. Now you take that and you make it somebody who can explain it to children.
yeah.
Like that's what we want to see more of.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with Einstein speaking to me. I also am
Apparently he came in here, so you spoke to him then.
I also was a little bit too old. I didn't have Bill Nye speaking to me when I was a kid. I was already a teenager. I was already a teenager by that point. I had somebody on Nickelodeon called Mr. Wizard.
Oh, wow.
But you know what? It's the same archetype over and over. You need somebody who can teach these things to children because we need to inspire them.
Well,
they're already curious.
Yeah.
Inspire them to keep going on.
we got to have, you know, that's what I was going to say, embrace science and not be afraid of it. You know, we are Christians, and I believe that science proves Christ. Right, I believe that the science proves creation and things like that. I believe that it's complementary to our beliefs. Yeah. You know, I really do.
I agree.
And I think that that's why science I'm not a scientific person, but my daughter is into science, and that excites me because, yeah, like I said, like I think that it shows evidence of that. But we've gotten to where, and we say this as people with very small platforms, but we've gotten to where everyone has a platform now, and all of a sudden you've got people talking about, there was someone in town here that owns a business and had posted to their page a picture of a jet flying over and was like, stuff like this outrages me. I'm tired of the chemtrails. I'm tired of them trying to, don't they know that that's illegal in the state of Tennessee? Which blew my mind, Crockett. It actually is illegal in the state of Tennessee. And we were doing some research because we couldn't believe that. Oh, I don't know why I couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe that our state had passed a law like that. But they were citing conspiracy theories and false science in the General Assembly to pass this bill.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's all coming back to Einstein saying, we need those figures to say, we need to embrace this, not because it's disproving your beliefs, but I think that's what people are afraid of.
Yeah.
But that it's just like that. I don't know.
Well, one of the voices for that supermajority of Republicans in Tennessee's legislature, when asked, hey, what about this where it's directly contradicting your claims? He said, I neither know nor care. And the vote continued ahead. So that right there is your supermajority. You're talking about education and false science and conspiracy theory. The very beginning of this play approaches that Einstein recalls through his own childhood. Like, a lot of people bring up that Einstein was supposedly bad at math, and that's not true. But Bill Landry's Einstein rethinks through like the stifling experience of public education. And he has this great quote in there.
See, as a pupil, I was neither particularly good nor bad. It's just that I could see that this whole system of education is based upon the deliberate intention of the state to mislead youth.
It's just that I could see that this whole system of education is based upon the deliberate intentions of the state to mislead youth. Huh. And I was like, amen. Amen. I said, we need a revolution in education, among other things, and a new paradigm for what being educated supposedly looks like. And we need everyone on board with it. We need American teachers, American students, American parents, American lawmakers, everybody on board that, this is not how education's going anymore. We can't keep aping along like this. We need to instead, drive toward a new paradigm for it. That constant, Einstein says,
the constant hammering for years will be entirely forgotten in a few weeks.
That constant hammering for years, what will be entirely forgotten in a few weeks.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember that part.
Whoa. So even though that this is a play geared toward young children and family audiences, it still speaks to plenty of us, right?
Also, too, at the beginning of the play, the first thing he says is, what does he say? He's like, hello, my young friend. I, too, am an old learner, which I think that's the thing is that we learned is that Bill Landry wrote this, but this is a collection of actual writings from Einstein. He just arranged them.
Yeah, that's right.
And so it is Einstein's own words. The Einstein estate gave him permission to use, which is crazy that he talked to the Einstein estate. But anyways, I mean, that's just Einstein. We think about Einstein as like a slang word now for someone who's really smart, and the man that originated with, Albert Einstein himself, is saying, I still am learning. Like, I'm an old man and I still am an old learner too. So, just constantly learning.
Well, that voice calls out from space and time again on page 5. He says,
See, it is bad for schools to work with methods of fear, force, artificial authority. Leave that to the nationalists. They produce submissive persons. We must teach people to search for the truth. The situation in Germany shows what happens when people do not speak out against evil. And it is because they believed education to be, generally speaking, a method of keeping the peace.
You see, it is bad for schools to work with methods of fear, force, and artificial authority. Leave that to the nationalists. He says, they produce submissive persons. We must teach people to search for the truth, and the situation in Germany shows what happens when people do not speak out against evil. And it is because they believed education to be, generally speaking, a method of keeping the peace. Have we in America raised up generations of people that I thought always bragged, well, my mama didn't tell me to shut my mouth. But have we raised up generations of students to not argue against the violence they see happening on city streets in January, in February, that they do not call out the problems that they see happening, perpetrated on TV in front of them every day? Have we raised generations of students to be complicit and compliant?
Maybe.
And not loving science, but instead embracing conspiracy.
Yeah, I just wondered too. I kind of talked to Mary Beth about that, but like people like us, we've always felt like the proper thing to do is to just kind of stay silent. Like, oh, I don't want to get in this business type of thing.
Too much of the time, I think science and other aspects are driven by public narrative, by what people in power want to see spoken and published. You and I were talking about a recent change at the University of Tennessee with tenure and professors, right?
With all Tennessee State Universities.
All Tennessee State Universities, right? Well, because I don't like what you're saying, I'm going to violate due process and just fire you from your job. Although I'm doing this in recognition of a person that I've celebrated who, from my political viewpoint, always stood up for and died speaking out for the right to free speech. But I'm going to deny you your free speech and fire you for it. Einstein in this play says,
What must we do? But look for what is, not for what one thinks should be there.
what should one do but look for what is, and not for what one thinks should be there? Science doesn't need to reinforce my religious belief about anything. Whether the earth revolves around the sun or the sun revolves around the earth, those things, that view should not be dictated by my religious belief. I need to evaluate my hypothesis, check and see if it's true or not, and if it's not true, let's redevelop a new hypothesis that fits what seems to be the facts and sustain that until science once again disproves and I can adapt and adapt. You know, the earth revolves around the sun. And
it's round.
And it's round. It's not flat. And I don't care if it's Galileo or anybody who says, you know, this is true, and yet it continues to do so. Like, we've been persecuted for advancing scientific fact, right? Or scientific results in the face of public attitudes.
Well, I do think, you know, I, on one hand, can see, as far as like the religious aspect goes, the I can't say that word, scientism, I think is how they refer to it, as people who view science as like the end all be all, and how that has turned a lot of, I guess, religious people away from science, you know? But it's like I was saying, I've always just viewed science as complementary to our faith. That's how I've always viewed it.
Agreed.
You know, because I think that science, you look at things like DNA and you look at things. I mean, my wife and I we were watching a video about Jupiter and how Jupiter is so large that it basically, that is what dictates our solar system. We think it's the sun, but that Jupiter, did you know that Jupiter's magnetic fields are so big that they reach to Saturn? That is crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until last night. But basically, you know, I mean, obviously a few have gotten through, but Jupiter is so large, its gravity pull is so big that these like Earth-destroying asteroids have been sucked into it. They don't get, a lot of these things don't get past it.
That's right.
Right? And to me, That's like evidence of design.
I absolutely agree. 1,000,000,000%.
Yeah. Because if you sit there and you say, well, what's the purpose of all these things? And that's what I'm saying. That to me is why science is complementary of our faith, because we start to talk about like higher order of a design here of a colossal scale. You know, like we're talking like not just like God created man, but I'm talking like he set these things in the universe for a reason. You know, like these things are set. It's like I'm really going off on another tangent. It's like the Kuiper belt. You know, the Kuiper belt is this belt of radiation that's around the solar system that if it wasn't there, we would be fried because of that. And you're telling me that like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
It just so happened that all of this just kind of like, you know, and I'm saying that to us, if someone out there is listening that's science and you don't believe, I'm saying that I think these things are fascinating and that the science behind them is fascinating. But to me, that's, you know, I don't think that that's something that we in religion should be afraid of. I think that if you sit and study it, you start to see design.
I have always said that my religion does not need to discount science. Like they can go hand in hand. One does not need to negate the other. I also do not need my religion. My faith does not need to dictate what science teaches me. Like I don't need to look through the lens of my Christianity at my scientific evidence and say, oh, well, the results must be only because of what my faith teaches me. I need to set that apart and realize I'm looking through a different lens at that point. But something that I love is when that I look at the story of Genesis, an ancient creation story, that it's like, okay, well, if I look at Genesis, it follows an evolutionary kind of pattern that begins with complete emptiness and void. And in a snap, less than a split second, everything that's everything sparks into being. Let there be light. Boom, all of creation in one big bang, just all of a sudden. And that there's light from darkness, there's surface from space, there's void, waters, there's all of that. It follows an evolutionary path. And if there's somebody who believes it does literally happen in 7 days, that's fine. This guy, Jason Crockett, doesn't think it was literally 7 days, but I'm happy as a teacher of metaphor and stories and everything, I'm happy to see it through that lens as well, because it is a time period kind of thing. Einstein was here a few minutes ago, and he ragged on Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Did he?
But I'm going to tell you, he did. I don't know what you would have thought about it. But I, a couple of years ago, read a Neil deGrasse Tyson book where it was basically physics for dummies. And in his earliest chapter, he talks about, okay, well, here's our thinking of what the Big Bang really looks like and what's happening, these fundamental particles that do all of this. And when I was reading through it, I was once again reminded, I was like, my goodness, this just sounds like Let There Be Light. This sounds like all of that. I don't know why one should have to preclude the other. I am not that shallow in my religious faith that I need to think, ooh, well, I don't want to listen to science because it might make me question my God. I don't know what Radio America or anybody thinks, but I'm just going to tell you, I don't know the mind of God. Shock. I know that I'm not going to know everything out there in this universe.
Yeah.
I also know that I need to keep an open mind. And I mean, I can't say that I know that there's alien life on any other planet because I don't have whatever in evidence in front of me. But I also know that the universe is a colossal space. And if we're the only ones there, it seems like a huge waste of space. You're telling me that there can't possibly be any other exhibit of life anywhere in all of these innumerable galaxies and stars and everything. I just can't believe that. I just can't believe that.
I don't think that there is.
Well,
I'm not. If we found it, I would not be upset. But I feel like we would have found it by now.
How?
I don't know.
We are so isolated to one tiny pinprick of creation.
I know that.
My dude, the Voyager probe that we sent into space, right, is as of now 1 light day away from Earth.
Yeah.
And it takes 24 hours to get a beam to it and another 24 hours to get a beam back. It has spent decades getting one light day.
What was it like
away
since
from us.
when did it was like 77, wasn't it, that they
It has
sent
left
it
the
out?
bounds of our solar system, and it is one light
It got
day
through the
away.
Kuiper Belt, yeah. And
But my dude, that's decades.
I know.
That one thing.
You're probably
I
right.
cannot imagine that there isn't some sort of life out there. Even if we found cellular worms
Well, they're
on a moon somewhere,
astrophage.
that counts as astrophage. That counts as life somewhere out there in the galaxy. I don't need it to be human. I don't need it to be little green men.
but I want it to be. No, I'm just kidding.
I want it to be Rocky.
That would
I want it to be
yeah,
Rocky.
yeah, Rocky would be
Project
cool.
Hail Mary, right?
But aliens would scare me.
Of course, that's the nature of alien, something that is not like you. That is something that is other than you. And those things always scare us. I think science also scares us.
I think
because
so.
I don't understand the universe.
I think that's the thing with this conspiracy theories and stuff is that we don't understand or comprehend, therefore it can't be real.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And how do we try to put our hands around that fear? We come up with myths about Zeus and the underworld to explain away why does the lightning? Why does the thunder, Thor, rumble? Like, well, why do we? Well, we come up with these stories to try to rationalize and explain an otherwise inexplicable universe. And how do we do that with science? We embody it in a guy who's pretending to be Albert Einstein, or may really be Albert Einstein in another body. Or we put it into Bill Nye, or we put it into Mr. Wizard, and we explain it to children. We embody it in Neil deGrasse Tyson, who may or may not be cooler than you, and explains it in a way that, I can understand that.
I will say this for science people out there, though, and this goes for us as Christians as well. If you want Christians to buy in to the science, you can't talk to them like you're smarter than them. Do you know what I'm saying?
I agree, and I have a counterpoint to that.
And the same thing for us, too.
I was going to say.
The same thing for us, too. If I want you to buy into what I believe in, then I can't, because that's something Kyle Goff, and this is kind of crazy how this has turned into like a religious thing, but Kyle Goff and I talked about how it is unbelievable. Like, if you sit and think about that, it is unbelievable. It's hard to pitch that to people, But like I said, to me,
What, science or faith?
faith.
I was going to say both.
Well, both.
It can be really difficult
Yeah.
to pitch any of these theories to people.
Yeah. So that's my only thing. It's like you're talking about Bill Nye. I grew up watching Bill Nye. I used to love Bill Nye. I can't stand the guy now
What?
because he's so snooty. He thinks
No,
have you
I don't
ever
think so.
have you ever watched him like talked about religion with people?
No.
Oh, he's such a jerk about it.
But I also live in an America that is also so violent and so
Oh, I know.
smug and truculent
I know.
about other things. And they're like, you think you believe in that? And it's like,
I know that. I'm just saying.
I'm kind of sick and tired of that.
I am too. I'm just saying, like, for both sides. I've said it for both sides, and I mean it. Like, how do we start a healing process as a country and stuff? And we've got to start talking to each other better,
And
and listening better. Yeah, and you know what? You don't have to always agree. But I feel like we should be open-minded to try to understand. That's what we should be doing.
But isn't that the scientific process? That my theory and your theory don't coexist, so let's test them.
We got to find the null hypothesis. We got to refuse the null hypothesis.
We got to be talking science every week.
Because do you know, I am a scientist. I have decided that
You have decided that.
because I research
I
and I use the scientific method.
That's correct.
I'm a scientist. That's what I told my wife. I said, did you ever think you would marry a scientist? I'm a social scientist,
There's all kinds of science.
but I'm not a cool scientist.
Oh, that's a lie. Because you're cool.
Oh, thanks.
You're not this Einstein cool. I wish you had met him.
I
He
would
was
do
here a
too.
little while ago, but
You know what? It would be crazy if like Dr. Einstein was like Doctor Who. Like he embodied, like different people embodied
you
him.
are not going to believe this. The guy that was here told me he was Einstein the Man, said that he was basically Doctor Who.
What?
That he kept living and bouncing throughout history and all of it.
Who do you think he is right now?
I think he's probably a guidance counselor somewhere.
Oh.
Who's trying to like work in a high school, and like he's so concerned with saving kids' lives and, you know, fighting conspiracy theory that he's not great at his high school counselor job.
Oh.
And so he's probably like letting a lot of funding and stuff go through, but
And
they'll
letting
move him around and find a place for
fluoride
him.
back in the water.
And putting fluoride out,
Or
of the,
out of
water,
the water,
right? You got to
yeah.
take that out of the
Yeah.
water.
We're going to lose our jobs.
I press X to doubt. I will say in closing here that one of the last quotes I wrote down really ties it back to all of this. He says,
"A man's blindness, it is incomprehensible to me. Nationalism is a disease. It is affecting men who seemed to think and feel clearly up until now."
man's blindness is incomprehensible to me. And boy, as somebody who teaches Greek tragedy or any of that, blindness as a recurring feature and theme, and just like Brutus being like, what are you people doing? You're so blind. Obviously, he's a tyrant. Like, obvious. Man's blindness is incomprehensible to me. Nationalism is a disease. It is an epidemic affecting men who seemed to think and feel clearly up until now. Mm-hmm. I thought I knew these people. I thought I knew you. I thought I knew my family. I thought I knew all of these folks. And you're going to try to tell me that science is not science? You're going to try to tell me that vaccines are made up, that this doesn't really work? You're going to try to tell me that science is a scam, but I'm supposed to believe in whatever conspiracy theory you've cooked up? I can't. I have trouble reckoning that in my head.
Do you know what I think would be a cool way to teach this is kind of like what I'm doing right now with my juniors, which I feel like I could do a better job with them this year. But we're reading Man's Search for Meaning, but we were going to supplement night with it, but we've ended up we're reading both at the same time. And it's been really cool because we'll read one thing in Man's Search for Meaning and then read Night, and he's talking about the same thing. And it's like even he talks about Elie Wiesel talks about how like if you were in good with the capos or capos, however you say it, that they might give you a pea or two in your soup, like they'd get down to the bottom. And then we read that like a couple days ago, and then today we were reading in Man's Search for Meaning. And Viktor Frankl was like, if I clapped really good when my capo was telling a poem, he might give me a pea or two in my soup, you know. And I was kind of like, guys, look, like we're talking about, you know, we're having the same experience. Mm-hmm. It would be cool if you could find like something with Wernher von Braun, the guy who started the rockets, because Einstein, to my knowledge, kind of got ahead of the Nazi wave and was like,
that's right.
I'm getting out of here.
Correct.
I'm not going to give them my brain.
Right.
Where von Braun stayed
Right.
and created the rocket for the Nazis, the V1. Mm-hmm. And then America was like, you know, we went to Huntsville over spring break, and it really kind of sunk into, like I knew about von Braun, but I was like, you can go in and they've got his office like in a little cube, you know, and I was sitting there thinking, I was like, because they have one of his bikes that he would ride to work. And I was thinking, like, he rode this as a Nazi. Like, he was a Nazi. And I was thinking, we kind of are almost celebrating the guy, you know? And that was kind of, because like I said, and I've said before, like, the thing I feel like I'm most proud of the most in our country is our space program. And so I was just sitting there kind of like, is this, like, how should I feel about this? You know,
Are we the baddies?
well, I was just because I know about the brain drain, you know? But I don't know. I was just thinking like something so American,
Right.
was built on a Nazi.
I think that's also a little bit of America, is that you look at so many of our institutions or aspects, but then also realize what it was built on the back of.
Yeah.
And things that we love, but could they be here if it weren't for some of these other things that have been done too? And that's hard to stomach.
I just wonder, it would be cool to look at like the two separate mindsets, you know, because I don't know. I've read books about race car drivers in Germany during the time, and they wanted to do what they loved, and they kind of viewed that as the only option. Like if you raced for Mercedes or Audi, then you were a part of the Nazi party. You had to wear a uniform to formal events. And Rudy Capicola, Caracola, that was something that at the end of his life, he lived in Switzerland the whole time he raced, but he was German, and because he raced for Mercedes-Benz, he had to wear the Nazi uniform everywhere. And when they were coming through and doing war trials and stuff, he was kind of like, whoa, I had really had nothing to do with him. I just wore the uniform, but I've been living in Switzerland this whole time, and I'm living in Switzerland now. But the German populace had felt tricked by him, and they were like really wanted to get him. And that's just such a nuanced thing, isn't it?
And dude, you wore the uniform.
That's what they were saying. They were like, you could have refused it. You could have, you could have refused. So I think that would be an interesting kind of experiment to do, is to see like if you had like mimicking things where you could look at maybe Einstein's experience and von Braun's experience and just maybe see the thinking of both men,
I do.
That would be an interesting way to go about that.
So my teaching idea for this was that I get that the play is not geared toward high school or ELA, high school ELA or AP Lit, but it's also a community theater kind of thing. But still, why couldn't you use this in a high school ELA class or a high school science class and give it to your students as the spearhead of a project where we're going to take an angle of science and make it palatable for younger audiences? Mm-hmm. We're going through lessons in DNA right now. How do you adopt the role of Watson and Crick? And you have to work as a team to write a short 2-man play where you guys talk to an audience of children and present not only your background, what you know about Watson and Crick, but also how it fuels our understanding of DNA and the roadmap to discovery. Or it could have been anything. It could have been Michael Faraday. It could have been Madame Curie. Or it could have been Ada Lovelace. We would not have computers today. We would not have progressed in the timeline that we have if it weren't for people like Ada Lovelace. You have the entire world run by computers right now. Why can't you tell the story of Ada Lovelace to a group of children? And it forces your students to, all right, well, we have to do research. We have to learn what we need to learn about Ada Lovelace. Let's look at, how you develop a character based on her, and how do you write an easy to read script that hits all these nuances that not only teaches the science of whatever you're into, computer, but also the nuance of character. That's an angle I wanted to go at it from.
Hear me out on this. Your oral history project.
Yeah.
What if it was rooted with Bill Landry? Now stay with me, because you could show some of your Heartland series things, but then you could also present this to them and say, I love it. You could do something like this, guys. You got it. The play was only 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Watch the play. Yeah. Be like, look, Bill Landry, this is an oral history right here. And here's your options.
Yeah.
You can do a podcast.
I love that too.
You can do a play. You could perform a play for us, like a 2-man play or a 1-person play.
One of the kids could be an interviewer, and the other one could pretend to be Ada Lovelace popping in from time and space and then talking to people. Could you imagine if she were like a Doctor Who Time Lord? That would be crazy.
That'd be crazy.
Another angle I thought of, I used to work in a children's library, and back when the Gates Foundation was donating money to communities for computers, we had this program on there that talked about different scientists involved in the Los Alamos project. And it was
I've been to Los Alamos, by the way. Okay.
That's really cool.
Continue.
This was a little click-through program that you could click on different icons or different, like it would show you like a scene, and it was Where's Waldo, where you could click on things, and then it would walk you through little video clips and narration about them. One of them was Richard Feynman, and another one was Niels Bohr. And I'm going to tell you, so much of that still sticks out to me because I was a college student who was cleaning up his job in the library and was like, what is this? And I would click on it. 30 minutes have gone by, and I'm clicking through the life of Niels Bohr and complementarity. Or complementary, Feynman and the O-rings that froze and caused the ship to explode. Like, what is this? And it was very palatable to me because we click and learn more, click and learn more. If only we could click and learn more instead of swipe. There really needs to be a TikTok that is swipe to learn something, swipe to learn something, swipe.
What
to
if we
learn
made
something.
an app?
Don't anybody? We said it here first.
Yeah,
we said it here
us
first.
first.
We said
Us first.
55 ads. 55
Claimsies,
cheeseburgers.
ours, claimsies.
It's mine. No take backsies. That's as good as a copyright right there. That's a gentleman's agreement right there. You can't take that back.
Yeah.
So Einstein the Man. I think what makes it difficult in a high school classroom is age level, right? But really,
I'm not going to say what I was going to say. You may have to edit it because I don't want to get in trouble.
Do it.
I do think that, like, if we had freedom without standards, this is something you could teach, just like a week, right? Because you could, like I said, you could say, we're going to watch this, and we're not looking at the play necessarily itself or the literature, but we are looking at how Bill Landry has embodied this person.
Yeah.
He's observed this character. He is this character.
Yeah.
Now you do the same with one of our characters,
Right.
but you go and you find like the elements to it in the story, like what made Beowulf, and what made, do you see what I'm saying? Like,
I don't think you need to wait for an experience without standards to do that. I think that aligns very well with plenty of our standards. It makes your subject material very bite-sized because I'm going to teach you this today. Let's look at how this person did that. And now let's do your activity. 85 minutes are up. And as long as you scale it to their grade level and read the room, I think that's fine. One of my hesitations is that for people who aren't part of public education, buckle in. It can be worse than you imagine some days. It can also be far more rewarding. For people who aren't in public education, I think that they don't really realize just how challenging some of these scenarios can be.
Yeah.
We're exhausted because I've spent this class period working with a variety of kids of all different ages and interests and skills and abilities. And this kid's wanting to just get up and walk around the room while I'm trying to talk Shakespeare to this kid over here. And so that can be difficult. I do think if you have set those expectations and you are in control of your class, you can make this bite-sized, you can make this very palatable in the way that Einstein is making science palatable to them. You could approach the whole project, the whole oral history project that way. And it would give me an outlet to use this with my science unit, like science and literature. Interstellar, science and literature. That's part of my class. I love it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I do think that my perfect role in this school system would be to be like curriculum idea man. I cannot execute it, and I can't really necessarily align it with the standards, obviously. Because I was just like, man, if we didn't have standards, we could do this. And you were like, but that would be like perfect for standards.
You know what we need
But
more
I would be
of?
an idea guy. I'd be like, hey, listen.
We need more curriculum specialists.
That's what I need to be.
I need more curriculum specialists.
I didn't
come in and tell me how to teach.
I didn't say that. I did not say that. That's what I would be. I said I would be idea guy.
Idea guy.
What you would do is you would say, okay, I want to teach Einstein the Man somehow to my seniors, and I'm really stuck. And so instead of turning to Chat GPT or Gemini, you could have an actual human come in the room
church organ
and sit down and say, tell me your idea, and let's bounce ideas off of each other, and then we'll come, and then because I am an idea guy, then I would be like, well, what do you think about this?
Amen.
And then you could say, oh, well, let me see if that aligns with some standards. And oh, it does.
Amen.
I could use this.
Amen.
No, we're going to pass the baskets.
That's how we're funding the science for this one, kids.
So I went to Las Cruces, New Mexico. My young life leader got married to a girl from Las Cruces, and she I'm sorry, I went blank. Oh, that was our senior trip, whereas we were going to be the ushers at his wedding. It wasn't Los Alamos. We did drive past exit signs for Los Alamos, but we did go to the missile range, White Sands Missile Range, and I wish I would have been a little bit more knowledgeable because we stayed at a guy that worked for NASA, and I can remember walking in and he had a NASA, the NASA flight suit I'm trying to buy.
Yeah.
He had one just hanging up casually, and I thought, when I remember walking in, I saw that, I thought, we're staying at the coolest guy on Earth's house. Like, we're staying at a NASA guy's house.
Yeah.
So I've been out that way. but I just wasn't really sure what I was getting into.
I had several of my uncles were stationed at Alamogordo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And when I was a student at Tennessee Tech, periodically they started doing a Stone Cipher Symposium. I don't know if they still do this or not, but my course was the history of scientific theory, and it was tag team taught by two professors, one history, one science, and a lot of it featured upon the establishment of the TVA.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to the Stone Cipher Symposium, and I was wearing a Lockheed Martin shirt. And a guy stopped me and was like, "Hey, so you thinking about working for us?" And I talked to Lockheed Martin, and I was like, "Dude, I want to be an English teacher." I wish I had a different answer for you right now. I wish I were. Yes. I mean, I do want to work for you. I have zero skills. But man, if I could, woulda, shoulda, coulda,
Well,
I could have had a career in science.
Steve Wilson always tells me we take the path we take for a reason.
In this timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all of those choices split timelines, and somewhere out there,
Somewhere I was a Formula One race car driver.
somewhere out there is a Haston the Man. Somebody is dressing up in your cosplay,
Well,
teaching journalism to kids,
I haven't died yet. Just give me a few years.
but in another timeline.
Another timeline. I am dead.
All right.
Well, I've got to go really quick. So. Oh, hello, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you for watching. Oh, I'm sorry, listening. This is a radio program, yes?
You know, remember how they used to have radio back in the 40s and 50s?
Yes.
It's kind of like a new thing all over again.
What station?
This is called Station Spotify.
Spotify.
YouTube. Oh, you would like YouTube.
Spotify is what I name my dog.
And Apple Podcasts. We're out there
Apple
everywhere.
Podcast.
Would you believe it?
Is
Like-
that how you pick an apple tree?
Like the apple that hit Newton on the head. Yeah.
Well, I just was speaking with him before I came on my
Really?
light beam. Yes.
Really? What did he have to say?
He said,
Because if
ouch.
he said,
It hurt him when it hit him on the head.
I am going to have music playing us off the stage right now.
He said, ouch. And this Drew fellow, he seems like a very nice person. What is your name, little girl? Oh, she sticks out about your mommy. Does your mommy and daddy say they'll cut that off? They'll cut off your tongue. Is that what they say? Why will you not speak with me? I am Uncle Einstein. I am Uncle Albert. Have I embarrassed you yet? Okay, we are working on it and we are
Oh, no.
successful.
Maybe this whole Einstein the Man thing doesn't work after all.
Maybe it
It
does.
chases the children away.
Maybe it doesn't. Science.
Science! Second Stage is a free zone radio production, recorded in Sparta, Tennessee. If you enjoyed the show, please give it a like, share it, subscribe for more. Word of mouth is the best advertising. And if you want to hear more, look up our other podcast with honors, now in its newest season, and our brother podcasts, A Deadman's Books and Haston Curation. You can find them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you consume great podcasts.
Hey everyone, my name is Drew, and I want to talk to you about my show, A Deadman's Books. The show was created with the mindset of whenever I pass away, as morbidly as that sounds, that my children would inherit my books, and of all the things that I'm going to pass down to them, I think that that's the one thing that I want them to make sure that they keep and go through on their own time, but I want to be there next to them whenever they read these things. And so I created a podcast so that they could go back and listen to me and my friends and other people as we read through these books and what we had to think about it. But it's grown to so much more. We've got authors we interview. We talk about everyday life. We talk about how literature connects to life. All of those things in one place. And now we want you to come along with us and join us. This is a podcast not just for my kids, but for everyone who loves to read, everyone who loves a good story, everyone who's a parent, everyone who's a teacher, everyone who just enjoys literature. This is a place to come. So come join us every Monday on A Deadman's Books.